Before we dive into today's episode, we want to remind you that the views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and guests and for educational and entertaining purposes. The Professional Homegirl Podcast is here to celebrate the diverse voices, stories, and experiences of women of color, providing a platform for authentic and empowering conversations. There will be some kikiing, some tears, but most importantly, a reminder that tough times don't last, but professional homegirls do. Enjoy the show. And within 3 years, when you moved to Atlanta, you graduated with your degree in communications.
I did.
And then in addition, you received your master's degree in 2008 in social work.
I did.
So what were some of the sacrifices you had to make? Because I feel like when I interview a lot of survivors, one thing that they always say is how they was addicted to the streets.
Yeah, it was the streets for me. You know, my self-awareness model is addiction model. And it's addicted to the streets because I didn't know what else I was addicted to. You got to think about dropping out of high school, 10th grade, selling dope, crack cocaine here. I'm in a dope house. You know, with big dope men, not little dope men, big dope men. I got a gun. You know, I'm in the club. I'm living a dangerous life. I go from that to clubbing, you know, promiscuity, a baby, 19, dropping out on the streets of diving. And here I am in a white predominantly university trying to read. You know, sitting there with white girls 20 years old with 4.0s, blonde hair, blue eyes, and I'm 32, ghetto gangster, can't read a sentence. Whoa. Can you imagine every day going home feeling like, can you do this?
Right.
I'm going home with tears in your eyes because you're too afraid to get your paper back. You don't want to read out loud because you're too afraid you're going to miss a word. And you got tears in your eyes because your professor called you up and tell you now you can't read or write. And so the best thing I ever done for myself was ask for help. Can you help me? Can you help me be better? I went to the right lab for 3 years. I took 4 or 5 classes. I went home and wrote on my wall in my mirror, failure is not an option. I had mastered the streets, mastered this deception, mastered being out here with these men, mastered getting money. I was good at what I did, baby. I woke up every day to get with the biggest baller rolling in Birmingham, Alabama.
Okay.
And I was good at it. You know, I had furs, minks, all kind of stuff because I was out there in them streets and I made it my job. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
So I decided if I can master these streets, I can master these books.
Okay.
I'm serious. That was my thought process. And I got with every white girl. Every white girl in my class that made an A, I got with that white girl and I studied with that white girl. And I learned how to study and I learned how to take tests and I learned how to pass with an A. That's what I did. And so, yes, it was the hardest thing and learning how to talk without saying y'all, them, and em and them. And, you know, no.
You know how we talk.
The hardest thing was
my
PhD. Being able to go for my PhD because I wasn't PhD material. I was too ghetto. I was too loud. You can't you're a doctor. So the obstacles, the barriers that was put in front of me for my PhD program, well, again, this was baby.
Come on now.
There was no option. I'm unstoppable.
Okay.
Only thing can hurt me is me. Only thing can self-sabotage me is me. We are our biggest enemies to ourselves is ourselves. Am I right? Period. So I went to Clark Atlanta University and said, listen, here I am. And that, let me tell you, girl, that PhD, whoo! I had a Red Bull, a cigarette, everything. Hardest thing I ever done. You know, I got turned down. They turned me down with my dissertation, told me that I wasn't doctor material. I got turned down 2-3 times. So the message is Don't you never let nobody tell you what you can't be.
Right.
Don't you let nobody tell you your background. It's done. I have a robbery. I was in the mall stealing, got to fight with the people in the store. So it turns into a robbery. I didn't know. 26 years old, 2 children, felon, robbery, I'm done. That's what they told me. And and so it took me 7 years to get my pardon. I called Montgomery, Alabama for 7 years until they answered the phone and allowed me to come to Montgomery, stand before the board, and got my pardon. I did 7 years. And so what I tell people who come to me with all the excuses, they don't understand. But you telling me you can't go to school? You telling me you can't do what? You telling me you can't write a book?
I'm the same way. I don't do well with excuses. You cannot come to a woman like me and give me an excuse. It's either sink or swim, and I became a shark. Okay?
Listen, I wrote my book when I couldn't even read and write on the 10th grade level. Do you hear me? I published my own book, sister. I did this and sold 15,000.
Come on now.
I don't have an agent. I don't have a PR. I did this. This book is 10 years old and it's still number 1.
Okay.
And got another one I'm doing. So I'm just like you. I'm just like you, my sister.
We sharks out here.
Sit here and tell me, oh, you don't understand. I'm listening. I'm gonna give you 5 now. I'm listening. But what you ain't gonna do is come in here with this pity party. Let's go. Let's go. Because I'm gonna be the witness that you can do this thing. Am I right?
Right. No, you're right.
I got an Emmy. I got an Emmy to prove it.
Okay, come on now. Don't flex on them. Don't flex on them.
Oh, girl. So let me bring the Emmy out.
Don't bring the Emmy out.
And I think people think when they see me that, oh, look at you too much. My sister died on the day I buried my sister. I'm in Indiana. And so I flew to Georgia. I flew home to my house in Georgia. I drove to Birmingham to get my sister together, you can imagine how painful that was to me.
Right.
And on the same day I buried my sister, I had to go to Georgia and receive the presidential reward. I got the presidential award for best. What is it? Lifetime achievement. I got the presidential award from Biden and Harris for Lifetime Achievement Award. So I took my Emmy with me because when I got that presidential award, I raised my Emmy and said, "This is for you, Sonia. This is for you." We're doing things that people in the world said we couldn't do.
Right.
And I don't think it was a dry in that room. Yeah, I wanted so to leave a funeral and then go and get an award. And they kept telling me, you don't have to come and accept it. Yes, I do. I need to accept it for my sister. I want to accept it for all the and Sonias out here. This Lifetime Achievement Award from the president, it's not for me.
Right.
Am I right? It's for the work that we do. And so, yeah, I think those 2 awards for me, somehow I think my problem is, and you may have this, you may not, you may be able to help me with this. I don't know how to own my success. I feel like I have to stay humble to the point where I don't want to ever feel like, oh, she's just too much. And so many people tell me, you earned everything. Nobody, everything. You paved the way, how, and I know this is your interview, but I'm in John C. Maxwell's. I don't know if you know John C. Maxwell's work, but he's the biggest guru. He has these wonderful books out on what we do, motivation and empowerment. So John C. Maxwell, I have 5 of his books. And imagine being in his latest book. He got a book called 15 Invaluable Laws to Growth and Success. And I'm number 3. I was so moved, flabbergasted, because I'm like, I'm not successful. Like, what did he choose me? 19 million people bought this book. And people all over the world, it's finding me saying, "Are you real? I read about you and John C. Maxwell, and I wanted to find his people to tell him, why did you choose me for this book?"
Right.
And so and you know what? My girlfriend told me, because you are who you are.
You definitely are.
And yeah, so I just had to say that. So staying humble, I know you understand what I'm saying. Staying humble and authentic. And
Facts.
now people look at me as I'm a public figure. And I'm like, I'm not a public figure. And now I've never in my life felt so lonely, because when you get to the top, you feel lonely. And I know I can, and this off camera, me and you had this conversation, but you know, all the DMs.
Who be in your DMs? Okay. What they be talking about?
I'm just saying, you know, it's a whole lot of thirsty people out here. That's all I'm saying about that.
Okay.
And I'm like, oh, so it's hard to do anything out here, because you know you got to be careful where you lay your head, where you put your wig at, where you take your wig off it, because you don't know if somebody take, you know.
No, that's a fact. That's a fact. That's a fact. Well,
people have stole my flyer event and put their picture on it.
What? Oh, that's how you know you're doing something out here.
I'm like, who? People have there was a woman going around in Atlanta, I heard, using my story to try to get a movie deal and a documentary.
Nah.
Who wrote my story?
Are you serious?
And they right now want to go through what I went through.
Nah, that's a different type of person.
So I just be so happy when I find people like you.
I know.
I need you.
No, I need you, and I'm so thankful that you want to come on this show and share your stories. Share your story. I just have 2 more questions. One of the things that you mentioned in the documentary is, because of the cycles of sexual abuse in your family, you said that you had to look at your sons and question if they was going to ever fall into that cycle. So what did you do? What did you have to do as a mom to prevent that?
First thing I did was I moved from Alabama because I wanted to move my children out of poverty. I wanted to move my children in a better neighborhood. Let's be honest, because that matters.
Yeah.
I needed to love myself and find my own strength so that I could be a good mother. I wasn't a good mother. I didn't love myself. And I didn't want my 2 sons to grow up be sitting in a circle somewhere because of me. I didn't want them being in jail or rapists. I was so afraid that my children, because my granddaddy molested my mom, them, and my uncles, and I was afraid that my 2 sons would be the next bloodline. And I had to save them from jail. My uncles went to prison. All us dropped out. My uncles on drugs. And here we are, a impoverished family. I wanted my sons to marry, right? You know, marry somebody, because we didn't see that. We didn't have fathers in our life. And I wanted them to be the opposite. So what I had to do for that is, first I had to be an example. I went to college so my kids could understand that you can go to college. I wanted my children to go to college, because what I learned in white households is they children go to college because it's a rule.
Right. It's mandatory.
So I wanted my children to go to college. They saw me. So if you was to speak to both of my children, they would tell you, oh my God, my mom was all about breaking the cycle. We got to break. They tell you, you're going to school here. I'm not doing mediocrity. We're not using the word I can't in here. You're going to be something. You're a Black man. You know, nobody going to give you nothing. Go out here and get it. And when I wrote this book, my children was the first to get a copy of this book, my 2 sons. Can you imagine how to tell your sons your story? Tell your sons, your 2 males, that you was this type of a woman, you ran these streets, and to see my 2 sons love me, to say, Mama, you defied the odds, to see both of them. One is going to graduate in a year, the 26-year-old. The 33-year-old got 2 degrees.
Come on now.
Gave me my 3 grandbabies that I got.
Oh, yay.
I got twin grandbabies.
Yay. Come on now.
They something else, girl. They something else. And that's a whole nother kind of love right there. But you know what I'm happy about? That when I leave here, that my children will be able to take on this thing, that my grandbabies are now starting a new Tate McSwain generation where they go to college and they be successful. I've broken that destruction cycle. I've stopped it with me. And that's what I'm so proud of, that when I die and they put the dirt on me, that this story, this documentary, this book will continue to live and continue to empower women. If I leave here today, sister, I've done my job.
Yes, you have.
And that's a good place to be in your life. You know, I go to the doctor, my knee hurt. I'm 53, so my knee hurt, my hip hurt. Listen, my arm hurt. Can't drop it like it's hot like I used to because I can't get back up. And so when I go to the doctor and they be like, and they look at me, he said, you have an amazing attitude about everything. And I say, honey, if I leave here today, I've done something in 20 years that the average person will never do in their life. 20 years, 8 countries, 30 stages, $100,000 in speaking, 15,000 books, an Emmy, a presidential award, to see my Shiro Wonder, to see my 2 sons escape prison and jail. Isn't that beautiful?
Amazing.
To see my 2 sons become grown men. To see my 2 sons educated. If I don't do anything else, sister, the old gospel song, I've done enough. And I'm not even done. I'm just starting.
Oh, I already know.
Am I right? I'm just starting. The sky, it's the sky's the limit, girl. You better go to the moon because you better believe it. You gotta believe it. So I know you got another question, folks. I don't want to get all off. So what's the next one?
No, last but not least, what is your advice to those who are still suffering from their childhood trauma?
You know what? You gotta face this thing. You gotta unearth where you have hid it. You gotta take it out your heart, your gut, your memory, your back of the closet, under the door. You gotta go and face that thing, sister, brother. Let me tell you something. I'm telling you what I know. And it's okay to cry. I don't care if you write it down and burn it up, am I right? I don't care if you write it, throw it away, tear it up, but baby, you got to get this thing out of you. This thing has killed you. This thing has had you stuck long enough. You got to be tired of being tired. You got to be tired of being broken. You got to be tired of being this vicious cycles of self-destruction, bad relationships, no ending. You got to be tired of it. You got to be tired of protecting everybody else but you. Am I right? You got to protect your own heart, baby. You need to be good for your kids. You need to be strong for your children. You need to open your eyes and make sure that your children ain't suffering too. So how you get it from this thing, baby, you got to own this. You got to say it, write it, talk about it, get in therapy. You got to do this thing, baby. You got to be ready to put the work in. You can cry, you can shout, you can scream, you can holler. It is perfectly okay. But when you get up, you got to look in that mirror and you got to forgive you. You got to forgive you. Forgive you for allowing yourself to stay stuck. Forgiving you for allowing yourself to be silent this long. Forgive yourself for what you put you through, baby. And once you start forgiving you get that tiara out and you put it on your head. And you start loving you. Take yourself to dinner. I started buying me roses. I started taking me out, eating my favorite steak. I started going to the movies by myself so that I can learn how it feels to love my own company, baby.
Come on now.
We don't love our own company. We need a man. We need somebody to go with. You better get your butt up and go out here and live. You done already lost half of your life. You done already gave your perpetrators half of your life. You got to take the other half back. And what I mean by that, it's freedom. And guess what? That means you got to cut people loose. That means you got to stop making excuses for Uncle Papa and Uncle touching you. That means if your mama don't accept it, that means if your mama don't own up to it, you got to keep it moving, baby. You ain't got to go over to the barbecue because your uncle there, because everybody else is there. You got to set healthy boundaries to people. Tell people how to treat you. Because you're no longer that broken person no more. You're no longer that little girl. You no longer that person that's holding on to this secret Your secret is out, so you can come free. But people ain't gonna like this new you now.
Mm-hmm.
So now you got to get around giraffes like you, and they are here because I'm one of them.
Okay,
so
come
what
on
I
now.
mean by that
Mm-hmm.
is once you own that, once you start getting your deliverance through your trauma and your trials, and you want to write about it, tell about it, talk about it, you can. But once you get there and you can remind yourself that everything in your past does not have to define you today. And you got to know that. And it's okay to still feel it sometimes. It's okay because you're human. You're human. You're not going to forget it. You're human. But what I can promise you, baby, that you can laugh and you can love. You can lay in the bed by yourself. You can sleep by yourself. You ain't desperate. You don't have to have nobody to define you. Let me tell you something about love. It got to come with you. And you don't need nobody to define it for you. And I'm going to end with this. One thing I know for sure, sister. The hardest thing in the world is to love someone that don't love themselves. You will forever be in bad relationships. You will be needy and clingy. You'll be in attachment because you don't know anything else. But let me tell you something, baby.
Baby.
Not today, not on my watch. Wonder Woman, you better keep spinning. And you know what I love about this thing over here? Girl, this is so much for some people. They be like, oh, he should come. Oh, my goodness. Here she come. And baby, you know your girl had them sweaters on and she be back.
Okay, come on now.
Hey, y'all. So I want to say that before I end is you got to have a plan. Because once you come out of trauma, you need a plan in your life. It's just like AA. You stop drinking, am I right? You go to AA meetings. You need a plan in your life. You need to know when you're feeling it. You need to be able to feel that, and you need to know where to put it. Therapy is so good for that. It helps you get it out. It helps you set up, am I right, plans. It helps you with coping mechanisms. It helps you with all of that.
Give you resources.
And once you start, that's right. Once you start working, because you can't just sit at home, tell your story, and go home and think it's going to go away or you're going to feel better. It's not. Am I right? It's not going to happen. But what I did for me right quick was I got a mirror. And I would look in this mirror every morning after shower, butt naked. And I would hug myself because my mother never hugged me. And I would hug myself and say, I love you to myself. And put my tiara on, seriously. And I didn't even realize the day that they had kicked in. People, one day I was in the mall walking in with my tiara on, you know what I'm saying? And somebody said, hey, you need me? People thought I was a star, a superstar, because the way I was walking, I didn't even realize it. You see my point I'm making? Because every day I started to love me and became repetition. Am I right? Because how long does it take a habit? Is it 21 days to form a habit? Think about that. 21 days to form a new habit. So 21 days you keep telling yourself you love you. 40 days, am I right? 50 days. Think about that. And I started hugging myself. And then when I realized all this self-love was coming in, and then and what scars? And I'm like, oh, I do got what? So I want to say, when you get in front of, when you own it, when you can say it, when you can breathe love, when you can ask forgiveness, and then you got this plan in life, so you can soar, so you can go out here and be the best of you. But that's a process, and I do that for a living. I help women, right, with this process, and that's what I do. And I mean, faith's not an option. You gotta want to live. You gotta want. Am I right? You gotta
want it. You have to want it.
I mean, me and you can do this all day long, but you gotta want it. Nobody gave me nothing. Let me just tell y'all, I didn't take a shortcut. I no shortcut to this. You see what I'm saying? Ain't no dab or do you. This ain't a little bit and then you okay. It's like antibiotics. You gotta take it all. You know what I'm saying? You gotta take all of it. And it comes with the good and the bad. Am I right? It comes with that. You're gonna fail. You're gonna backslide. You're gonna have your days where you're gonna. I gotta say this right quick. When I got to Georgia, everything that I done when I was in my trauma, I got to Georgia, I met a dope man. You see my point I'm making? I married me. Everything that I was doing in the streets, I met. But what I'm grateful for was my self-awareness. Oh no, I'm not doing this again, right?
Right.
I changed my zip code and area code for a reason, right? I'm not doing this. And that's some of the things that you got to change your whole life. You really do. You got to change your mental environment too. Because what you can't do is let too many people with too much space on your brain.
Facts.
Am I right? And you can't go back to the hood and try to change everybody else because you changed. Try and then let me know. Like Cat Williams said, I'm waiting. Am I right? You can't go back and change everybody, y'all. You know, am I right? You can't do it. That's not your battle. And so for me, it's not going back. Can I say that? It's not going back to things that devalue you. You're a woman. We know things that make us feel bad. Am I right? We know places that we go that might make us feel bad. So you got to have enough self-worth to not put yourself back in those positions. And that takes work. Am I right?
Facts.
It takes work not to do that. It takes work to be in a healthy relationship.
It takes a lot of work.
I've never seen a healthy relationship all my life. My mama killed a man and cut his throat. My mom did. So I never saw nothing but fighting and sexual assault, verbal abuse. You know what I mean? Domestic violence. My mama got shot, stabbed, everything in front of us. I never even went to jail with my mom. My mom was there. She took us to jail with her. Can you imagine two little girls scared to death? So for me, I never knew what healthy looked like. Am I right? But right now, this is healthy.
Oh, this is healthy here.
Girl, please. Healthy as healthy can be. I love to say no.
Listen.
What? That's my favorite word. No.
Same.
Can you? No, thank you. No. No. I was wondering, no. I got no problem saying
I am very selective with my energy.
You better be selective with your energy. People will stop it, drain it.
Not stop it.
In this business that we are in, I'm speaking for me right quick before I go. People reach out to me. When I first got started, I wanted to save everybody. I know you know that feeling. I wanted to help everybody. Like, come on, girl, let's do this together.
Right. Oh, that's a fact. But
now I had to learn. I learned because my passion is so much.
Right.
But I have to say no. I mean, I know you understand that. You know, not today. Let me think about that, right? Because now I got a brand to protect. Right? I got a name to protect. You know, I got credentials to protect. I got a PhD. I worked 10 years in school. I can't meet you at the trap house.
Right.
I can't bend corners with you no more. You know what I'm saying? Because I got people looking at me and reaching out to me. So I got to be what I say I am. Am I right? And that takes good energy. I need people like you to keep me on my feet. Tell me, girl, come on here. Okay? Hey, girl,
Right.
We ain't doing that. That's what giraffes do. So I'm just leaving that with you. So when you learn this thing, you got to know where you speak. I turned down speaking engagements because sometimes it's not for me. Am I right? I can't sell out. I can't do that. So, you know, it's just a lot, but I'm grateful. And is there any other thing you want to ask me? Because I definitely want people to know where to get the book at.
Yes. And I just want to say, if y'all are not inspired by my guest story, we're going to do some more things. I'm going to talk to her about it off the camera, but I just want to say thank you so much for coming to the show. I feel like you are the epitome of what my platform means, the professional homegirl. So I appreciate you. And however I can be a resource to you or how I can help you continue your sister's legacy, I am all in. So thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you so much. I so appreciate you. Don't forget to make sure you tell people. And it's on my website.
Yes, I have all your information.
Okay, so you I'm gonna give me a call because I want to know about the pod because I need help because I'm lost. I'm just letting you know I don't know what to do, but I gotta do it. And I know you understand what I mean by that. I need to know how all that stuff you got, and I need to know how you got an essence. I need to know at least. And the reason why is because I have people reaching out to me, want to charge me all this, you know, hey.
Yeah, I've been hearing about that. People want to charge you to share your story. That's a real thing, huh?
I can't wait off the camera. When we come talk, I got to tell you about this sister. Want me to pay $1,400 to be on top of her magazine if I know her.
Yeah, it's so crazy.
People reach out, hey, and when you say, hey, I know how to get you in these magazines, blah, 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 blah. And just to let you know, I never market myself. I've been grateful to do all this with no marketing. And there's some people find me.
Same. Me too.
Isn't that beautiful, babe?
Since I started, like, it's just literally been word of mouth. I never paid for marketing.
Ain't God good to both of us?
Listen, God's favor ain't fair, child.
You gotta say it. So when I saw you was in S, I said, I'm gonna ask this sister how she got. I know it's a lot of times to different editors, reaching out to the editors and stuff like that. But I want to tell you, people been reaching out to me with $2,000 and $25,000.
That is crazy.
Well, it's just because they see all of this.
Right.
And I've been grateful not to have to do anything. You know what I'm saying? Just people like yourself and just word of mouth. Now, almost 800,000 people have watched that 15-minute segment. That's amazing, isn't it?
Right. No, that's amazing.
When I saw yesterday, I think it was almost at 750,000. I've had 700 to 800 friend requests. I mean, all day and night. I can't even tell you the DMs. So yeah, I need you. I want to build a team.
Yes.
And I need you. I think you and I think bringing in somebody like you, you're young and beautiful and appealing. Because let's be honest, this thing is ugly, and we gotta spread hope. We got people tell me, people say to me, "You look so beautiful." You know why? Because they can't believe
you don't look like your story.
I'm supposed to look like that. Am I right?
You don't look like your story.
So when are you gonna put this? When you gonna do this podcast?
Well, I'm gonna tell you off the camera. But to the listeners, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please make sure to email me at hello@thephgpodcast.com. And until next time, everyone, later. You gonna say bye?
Oh, bye, y'all. Bye, y'all. Keep spinning. That's not an option.